Rating: explicit. Archive warnings. Graphic depictions of violence. Major character death. Category: MM. Fandom: Hades, video game 2018. Relationships: Charon, Hermes. Minor or background relationships. Characters: Charon, Hermes, Hades, Persephone, Zeus, Demeter, Nyx, Hypnos, Thanatos, Zagreus, Ares, Maia, Artemis, Athena. Additional tags. Other characters and tags to be added: hurt, comfort, angst, violence, emotional abuse, parental abuse, eventual smut, PTSD, handjobs, electrocution, references to ancient Greek and religion and lore. Anal sex, suicide, family issues, family trauma, eventual happy ending. I swear to God this will have a happy ending. Masturbation. I told you there was a happy ending, goddammit. Language: English. The Death of Hermes by The Fuck Is Devs. Chapter 1. Hermes emerges from the pool of Styx. What does it take to kill a god? Everything was red. Burning hot, searing pain spread through his entire body like fire. His blood boiled, burning lava traveling through his veins. He had never felt so much pain in his entire existence. His body was nothing but agony. He couldn't even begin to comprehend anything that wasn't white-hot, burning through his soul. He was floating. He couldn't feel the current of the river manipulating his body as he became corporeal again. The pain had diminished, going from incomprehensible to something he could put a name on. His chest was still blossom with the most of it, beating in rhythm with his beating heart. The gentle currents of the water helped him become real once more. Something that wasn't just the physical manifestation of agony. It shaped his fingers, legs, and torso, pulling him out of the unbearable realm he had been at seconds ago. He could finally feel the shape of himself once more. The river gently pushed him upwards, finally breaking the surface of the water. He took a desperate and painful breath, chest still blooming in pain with each twitch of his body, as if it had been torn open by cruel hands. His head was still hazy as he opened his eyes and gazed into the ceiling, not recognizing the angle he was in. He saw crimson drapery and cascading laurels that he should have recognized, but his mind was still foggy from the experience of rebirth. The Styx bloody water rolled off from his face, tickling his cheeks. He could hear whispers around him, but his mind still hadn't caught up with the situation, unable to make sense of what was happening. He was in the Styx. He felt strong arms wrap around him, a very familiar feeling. They pulled him softly out of the water, dragging him close and taking him to the steps leading out of the river. He pressed his hands against his chest, taking deep, desperate breaths as the pain still remained at the center of his ribcage, his paralyzing shock being replaced by sudden and horrifying panic. Those strong arms held him close, long fingers petting his hair soothingly in an attempt to comfort him. His chiton was wet with red, drops of water slowly rolling off him. The fog in his head was clearing up, hands grasping at the strong arms wrapped around his small body, his only anchor. He grabbed at his anchor's ropes desperately, knuckles going white red as he pressed his wet face against the creature's chest. He was alive. There was commotion at the house of Hades. It has been a while since something truly disrupted the peace inside the house. Ever since the boy, Zagreus, had started his escape attempts, there was plenty of panic around the shades. One by one, his underlings would just pop out of the pool of Styx, having just been slain by his son, the prince, in his attempt to reach the surface. It was incredible at first, but soon enough it was just a regular occurrence and a sign that Hades still had lots of work to do to enforce the security of his realm. To think that he would hire his own son to do security checks, that was just the young boy destroying his realm. What a strange turn of events. He mostly blamed Persephone. She always knew how to convince him in doing things, and he could never say no to her, not after all this time. At first he ignores the number of shades gathering at the pool of Styx, still focused on all the paperwork gathered in his massive desk. Persephone was beside him, helping him with the task, but she quickly became aware of all the shades moving around. Hades looked over to the pool of sticks, but paid no attention to it. He turned his eyes back to his work. "I think something is happening, Hades." Persephone gently touched his shoulder, but he just waved his big hand. "Let the shades be. Perhaps Zagreus got himself killed by getting run over by Theseus' chariot once more." "Zagreus is still in the house, Hades. He hasn't left since he returned from his last security check, about 2 hours ago." That caught Hades' interest. If it wasn't Zagreus, or one of his workers, then why were the shades so energetic? It was then when Charon brushed inside the house, practically running towards the pool. Unlike his kin, Charon never came inside the house until strictly necessary. The chthonic god didn't bother to address Hades nor Persephone, something he always did once he visited, and instead opted for a beeline towards the pool of sticks. "Charon?" Hypnos asked as his older brother just ignored him, going full speed towards the pool along with the other shades. This deeply unsettled him, as Charon always made time for his siblings no matter what. "Charon, what is happening?" Persephone left Hades' side to go towards the pool, voice full of concern, but the ferryman did not respond. "Is something the matter?" Sighing, Hades put down his paperwork and finally left his desk. Cerberus perked up as his master stood up, but Hades motioned at the dog to stay put, which he eagerly did, wagging his tail. Shades moved aside as Hades stomped down the great hall, fearful of his wrath. Persephone gasped in horror when she reached Charon's side, both of her hands covering her mouth. She simply stood there, staring at whatever Charon was doing. Hades couldn't even begin to imagine what was making such a commotion, but at least his presence intimidated the shades enough to have them clear the area. "What is it?" His voice boomed as he approached Charon, the ferryman not even bothering to reply at him, his smoke traveling up above him. He finally reached him, staring down at the shaking body in Charon's arms. It has been years since he saw him last, but Hades could not mistake the bright golden wings in his nephew's head. The god of swiftness, Lord Hermes, had just emerged from the pool of sticks.